welcome back to another brand new episode of NH Unscripted. I know you're holding your breath. You can release it now. We are live. We're coming to you from the Taj Mahal-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. I got my Nehru jacket on, and I got my medallion. Yeah, I'm looking sweet. My bell-bottom pants. Your job, kick back on that waterbed. Please don't forget to turn the heater on. That comes from personal experience. Those babies get cold. That's just a bag of cold water, let me tell you. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios in Concord, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL, and I'm happy to tell you a little bit later about what you'll find out there. It's a treasure trove out there. First, I need to thank my sponsor, though. I keep saying how grateful I am, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, that the law offices of Shaheen and Gordon are sponsoring this show. Their tagline is, because everyone should know a good lawyer. Yeah, right? It's kind of canned, but I'm telling you, in this day and age, I was watching something the other day, some YouTube thing I was out on, and there's all these people out in like California and stuff scamming the insurance companies by like faking that they get hit by your car as you drive by them. And yeah, everybody should know. And that's just, I mean, you could be anything. I mean, you might need them for a will, a trust. Maybe you hit the lottery and you need to put my name in there and because you need to give me some money. You know, something like that. You might need a good lawyer. And we really appreciate them. Get out your pencil because you're going to want to put it on your refrigerator. ShaheenGordon.com is their website, ShaheenGordon.com. Their phone number is 603-614-5560. And seriously, they do about litigation, immigration, big topic lately, you might have noticed. Real estate, business and corporate. Yeah, come on, they do it all. Go out to their website, ShaheenGordon.com. They're in Concord, Dover, Manchester, Nashua, Peterborough, Keene, Hawaii. They're out there in Hawaii. It's a long way to go to find an attorney, but you know what? Hey, you got to do what you got to do. All right, anyway, enough rambling by me. I have asked my friend, longtime friend, Kevin Collins, if he would come in today because this past weekend, he and I went to see a show out at the Players Ring. It was called The Man Who Laughs. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
I'm not even sure. I've been thinking on the way in. First of all, let me ask. I'm going to throw this out to you. What category would you put that play in? And then I thought to myself, okay, hold on. First of all, I got to stop compartmentalizing things and categorizing because that's just such a crazy thing to do. But if you had to put this play, The Man Who Laughs, at the Players Ring, into some kind of a category, would you have to create a category for where it exists?
No, I would say experimental theater. I mean, the head of the Players Ring, Margarita, pointed out all they did was present a paragraph.
In their pitch meeting.
In their pitch meeting.
Yeah.
And that's where it went from there. And so in a sense, they had to create from scratch this theatrical experience, which probably does defy any specific genre except other than experimental. You might say avant-garde, but not really, because it's a recreation of a silent film, but on stage. But the way it was done was, I mean, I'm not aware of any other theatrical company that has attempted to. The audience probably doesn't know what this is. It was a theatrical experience of recreating a black and white silent film on stage, in black and white and silent.
Yeah. I went home and I told Randy. She said, "Well, how was it?" And I said, "Okay, I'm going to put it this way. There's only 6 words spoken in the whole play. 3 open it, 3 close it, and they're all the same words." She almost died.
They called that a framing device. But just to sort of summarize what it was, The Man Who Laughs was a 1928 silent film. As a matter of fact, after you and I saw the show, I took the opportunity to watch it on.
Oh, you dog! I can't believe you did. I was going to do that and didn't.
And interestingly enough, I think the thing that probably wasn't really mentioned at the talkback afterwards was how much the character of the Joker was clearly drawn,
What a great point.
based on the lead character played by Conrad Veidt. Gwynplaine, I think is how you pronounce it. Since it was a silent film, I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't say it very often.
You see it, but I'm not sure how you pronounced it. But to summarize the plot, as a young boy, Gwynplaine, whose father was a lord who spoke out against King Charles of England, and they arrested his father, and as a punishment to the boy, they slit his cheeks on either side so that he wound up with this forced smile, much like the Joker in the original Batman comics. And if you look at the silent film, you can see that clearly. I don't know why I can't think of the cartoonist's name who created Batman. He clearly drew on that film. Anyway, so
Bob Kane.
Bob Kane. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Outstanding.
Hey, I had my coffee.
There you go. And your trivia cranked up to 10. But at any rate, so the story involves him. Now he's an adult and he is a clown because he can't avoid the fact that he's got this permanent smile attached to his face. And the story's fairly simple. And they did a pretty good job of recreating the story, even though it was more of a pantomime than anything else, because they really eschewed the idea of having the title cards, the dialogue as they did in silent films. So they didn't mime any of the talking, and they didn't carry the narrative along by having that dialogue, which was probably a bit jarring. But by the same token, they did a very good job of communicating everything with almost no dialogue.
Yeah.
Virtually speaking.
Yeah. When Wayne Asbury, who played the lead, I was talking to him afterwards, and I said there was something about I bought in right away. When it opens up, and it's got all the music from like the old black and white, the old organs playing and all the heavy organ music, and I said there was something. I didn't need dialogue. It was like my soul, my spirit, something. It was okay to buy in to quietness. It was something about me just said, I'm happy to go along for this ride. And I knew it was in good hands. I knew it was a great cast. And I didn't have any, in the wrong hands, this would have gone very, very badly. Well, in the wrong hands, it probably never would have happened anyway. So let's start with that. But I said I was okay. I was ready. I settled right in early. I bought in very early in the production, and was happy to take the ride. Did not hear dialogue. Did not hear a lot of crazy noise and props slamming around and stuff. And I was so glad. It was so on the opposite end of what we see today, the big spectacles and the choirs and the huge orchestras and the big numbers. And it was just great to sit back and relax and enjoy a show, even though there's no dialogue.
I think one of the great advantages of it was that it was an hour long, no intermission, so that you had that experience. And I think that's what they were trying to do more than anything else, was to recreate the experience. And in lots of ways, it felt like being back in the old, even though I didn't grow up with silent films, except whatever.
You look like you did.
Yeah, I'm almost old enough. But they were more frequently on TV when we were growing up. That you could see a lot of old silent films, especially say like Laurel and Hardy and Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton was always on TV. The silent films. But they did a really good job of recreating that. If you see the original film, which I would recommend, it's on Tubi. The production quality is high.
Yeah.
It's really worth
Yeah.
seeing.
All right, hang on there. We got a lot more to kind of peel back on this because I want to give kudos to a lot of folks here. Well, you are listening to NH Unscripted. Yeah, we're kind of your sound of silence. That kind of fits here lately. I am your Simon and Garfunkel-like host, Ray Dudley, and we are coming to you from the Green Acres like digs of the WKXL studios. I think I seen Arnold the pig running around. Anyway, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM. Concord, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. Kevin Collins is in the house. We're talking about The Man Who Laughs, which is currently playing at the Players Ring. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted, where the question is, who loves you, pretty baby? I am your Frankie Valley-like host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the honeymooner-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. Norton! Yeah, that's only the old folks get those references. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkmans, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls of Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. We are talking about The Man Who Laughs, which Kevin and I saw out at the Players Ring this past weekend. It goes through, let me get my date sheet out, October 17th through November 2nd. So you should be able to get out there in time by the time this airs. Hopefully. Kevin, the Players Ring was perfect for this. Would you agree that the size of the...
They have the advantage of it being... a black box theater, which
yes.
Of course, if you're going to do black and white, you're going to need a black box theater that they have, and of course, the not quite in the round, but pretty close to theater in the round. And in addition to that, you have for them, you've got a dynamic head, Margarita. She's just phenomenal.
She was that day, especially, yeah.
Turned the Players Ring into a profitable and cutting edge. Theatrical experience is located not too far from Strawberry Bank Museum, which means that it has that the clientele that it serves is going to be upscale, educated, well-to-do, and willing to come into theater and to not spend 2 hours to be passively entertained by some old chestnut, as good as they are. It's nice to be able to see something, as I mentioned, avant-garde and cutting edge. And kudos to Wayne and Emily. I think was it?
Yes, yeah.
Emily did the lion's share of the work by taking a chance.
Yeah.
Not exactly putting their reputation on the line, but at least going out there and saying, well, this might flop, but I think as you said, if you got the right kind of talent, you can pull off almost anything.
Yeah. So I'm with you. So for folks who look, if you're in the market for something different, and I mean that sincerely, something that will make you think. Well, it was interesting. Go out to the Players Ring. Go out to their website and check this out. You could tell by the talkback that that audience was perfect for that show. They were ready for it. They were smart. There were many references, more than I thought, to the movie, the book. I was really taken aback by how many people were ready to see that show and had a lot of great questions about it. It was surprising to me the knowledge base that they had, right? I mean, you don't have to have a great knowledge base to go see The Music Man, but it was really, I was fascinated by that. The clientele, I don't want to call them clientele, but...
Yeah, I guess that is the audience. Yeah, they knew what silent films were like. I mean, I was a high school teacher, and students just didn't want to watch anything that was in black and white. They did so. They had to twist their arms to get them to watch Rebecca or Citizen Kane. As famous as those Hitchcock films were, it's in black and white, so therefore I don't want to watch it. But they understood that, and whoever who designed the set and the costumes and the makeup did a fantastic job of. You looked at them and you could see Raymond Navarro or Rudolph Valentino or Theda Barra. Once again, if you're old enough, you'll recognize those names.
The rest of them have to Google it.
Yeah, exactly. Or Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton or Laurel and Hardy. Back in the day when the arc lights were so bright that their faces were washed out, so they had to have stark, makeup. In the movie of the Man Who Laughs, there is one small character, and because the quality of the print that they have on Tubi is pristine. This one secondary character has more makeup on his face than you could imagine, but they did that, and the good guys, the bad guys, all had tons and tons of white and black and gray makeup on. And, again, kudos to the designers of the show as well as the performers.
Yeah, I think, obviously they were gambling, right? And you're right. For pitch night, they just gave a paragraph according to Margarita, and the players' ring were like, okay, we're gonna buy into this somehow. But I think, I want to make sure we mention, too, the rest of the cast. I didn't want to just... Sure. So, Wayne Asbury, Ben Bagley, Kevin Barringer, Emily Carell, and Leslie Pasternak. There were some interesting use of lighting as well, since there's no vocalization. The lighting became very important, as well as the makeup and the costumes. Props too, but not so much. They were kind of just there. I'm not just there. I'm terrible.
It was boxes that could be rearranged. That's when I built sets. I had probably done that more than once.
We've done it at Boston State College.
Boston State College, because it's much easier to deal with boxes than it is to keep hauling out chairs and tables and God knows what. But they did a good job. They even recreated a boat sail. Remember that?
Yes, that's right. That's right. And Leslie Pasternak came out with a dog puppet.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe if the only verbal thing that happens in the play is a dog barking, it was an ingenious use of that little puppet, right?
Yeah.
If you want to, it's a puppet.
It was a puppet. Yeah, very, very much a puppet. Yeah, there was so much in it that was just really worth if you have the time to go out to Portsmouth and see it. Recommend it just to see what avant-garde theater, experimental theater can be. And what's nice for the Players Ring is that they're not paying royalties. Which if they were going to do a musical, they'd have to pay.
No kidding.
Big time. Royalties, back as I said when I was in high school, man, you'd be dropping several $1,000s just for the high school rights for a musical that hadn't been, on Broadway, was originally on Broadway 80 years ago.
Yeah.
But as you know as well, that it's fascinating. So, yeah, again, if you see the original film. As I said, they had mentioned that the acting wasn't quite as extreme as it was in the early days of silent theater. I would disagree with them on that because as I watched, there was very much that sincere emoting, overdoing it. And what's fascinating is they have the chase scene in there, like it was right out of Frankenstein. And it lasted probably 10 minutes as they're chasing, Gwynplaine across, London, as he's trying to get to the ship at the end there. And it goes on forever. And, of course, they move like those silent films where they walk like the Keystone Cops. So I guess that I would take issue with the idea that it was more fluid than the old days. But apart from that, it was terrific, and I would recommend watching. But if you get out to the play, to also take the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you read the book?
No. Hugo's not easy to read. I mean, after Les Mis came out, I tried to sit down and read that. I said, no, I'll use it to prop up the corner of the table that's kind of wobbly because it's a bit, I'd like to read, but anyone who takes 3 pages to describe Esmeralda in the Hunchback of Notre Dame or Jean Valjean, just I'm moving on. We have such short attention spans.
That is the truth. I'm looking out when I'm out on YouTube. If it's longer than like 12 minutes, I bypass it. I don't have time for that.
I'm the same way. I'm exactly the same way. And as a matter of fact, I'm not even so sure that I really want to watch it. If something pops up in my feed and it's a story, I'll read it. If it's a video, I don't really want to watch that video.
I know. Oh, man. All right. Man, hang on, folks. Yeah. You are listening to NH Unscripted. Kind of California dreaming out here today. I am your mama and pop-like host, Ray Dudley, coming to you from the dating game-like digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. So happy to be out of bed. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkmans. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Talking theater, specifically the Players Ring. Kevin Collins is in the house. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. Yeah, play Misty for me, will you? Ooh, man, that was a cool movie, too. I'm your Johnny Mathis-like host, Ray Dudley, coming to you from the spa-like conditions of the WKXL studios in Concord. Yeah, getting me a massage while we're just doing the show. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios. That's Concord. 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. I just want to give out the URL for the Players Ring. There's so much stuff that goes on out there. Playersring.org. Playersring.org. Folks, go out there. I'm telling you. And make a trip out to the Players Ring. A, they could use it. B, it's theater that you're just not going to find anywhere else. You just not. It's a niche kind of a place. And it's for folks like us who, periodically you just need to refresh your spirit and see something that's not been around for a million years. Kevin, you sent me a list. I said, Kevin, let's talk about something else as well. And then I had this train of thought on my way in. I was playing Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger. And I thought, that's really cool. It's amazing how many movies and stuff that has been in and how often it's been used. And that made my mind travel. And then I'm starting to think about, Bill Clinton was playing the saxophone. I was thinking about how things get into culture and how culture affects all these other kinds of things. And I thought about, how they made such a big whoop over Bill Clinton playing the saxophone on like MTV. And I thought, you know what? Years ago, that was... Richard Nixon beat the pants off. He was on Rowan Martin's Laughing,
right,
saying, "Suck it to me, baby," back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton had nothing on him, baby.
No, yeah, it's like, and Gerald Ford was on Saturday Night Live. I'm Gerald Ford, and you're not. Because that was Chevy Chase's line. I'm Chevy Chase, and you're not.
But it made me think about all these kind of things that weave and get into culture, right? Like "Sock It To Me" and things that have obviously no reference today. Like "We Keep On Trucking." That's a phrase nobody uses anymore. It was the 70s kind of a thing. And then I was looking over this list of things that we might want to talk about. And so I just thought maybe we just start at the first here. You said maybe we could possibly talk about, well, I said the first, but sci-fi post-apocalyptic shows.
Yeah.
Jump in there for a second, and why did you add that? What made you say there might be something here we can mine?
Yeah, there are several reasons why I included that. First of all these shows that I sent you, and I'll talk about them in a second. I loved. I was hooked on it. But by the same token, it was also fascinating to realize that we've always liked post-apocalyptic, films and literature. But why so many right now? And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact COVID hit, in 2020. And because of that, the possibility that the humanity could be wiped out with an ecological disaster or a virus of some sort, or at one time when we were growing up, it was nuclear war.
Yeah.
And I understand. I don't know much about it because it hasn't come out yet. But Catherine Bigelow, who had done Zero Dark 30, and what's the film about the guy, The Hurt Locker?
Oh,
she's come out with a
Jeremy
film.
Renner.
Yeah. She's come out with a new film about a pending nuclear bomb landing on Chicago. I don't know anything about it beyond that. So, but at any rate, the two things happened in 2020. Besides the fact that the virus spread, people were stuck in their homes and they're watching streaming TV.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why I think theater has had a difficult time, making it back. In the Boston Globe Day, they were talking about people aren't riding the T anymore, and that's been even though it's never recovered from the pandemic.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I don't know how far down the readership the ridership is, but it's down. But anyway, the shows that I love that have been watching for the past several years. The Last of Us. I don't know if you've seen it with Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I saw the first season.
Yeah, Bella Ramsey. And it's going in a different direction. I guess if you're a gamer and you play the game, you know where it's going. But I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But that's the only a TV series that I mentioned here that has anything to do with the zombie apocalypse. But even then, that factor plays a minor role in the show. And pretty much the zombies show up once in a while, but it's really about the survivors. How the survivors survive. What are their relationships like? Are they kind to each other? Are they cruel to each other? And as Ellie and her and I can't think of the guy. I think Pedro Pascal's character's name. As they travel across the country, and they encounter different ways of the bits and pieces of civilization that are left over. How each of them survive. Some of them are kind, and some of them mean, and some of them are downright murderous. But that's fascinating to me. That's fascinating.
Before you go too far, I want to. You mentioned nuclear war. I was listening to a podcast the other day. There was a nuclear scientist, a woman, nuclear scientist, who was talking about the current state of nuclear warheads in the world. I don't want to get dark here, but she said we have not had an incident only by luck, not because there's so many smart people. She said that right now there are 50 nuclear warheads at the bottom of the ocean that have been dropped there by accident. Either a plane was flying across in the 40s or 50s and they dropped a bomb accidentally. There was a time when a U.S. sub hit a Russian sub and they dropped a nuclear warhead and it's sitting at the bottom of the ocean. What if there's an earthquake down there or something, And so it's fascinating that we have not had these accidents yet. She said during the Kennedy era, that was a mess. They came so close to nuclear. I mean, very close to nuclear war back then. And it was not funny anyway. So I agree with you, though.
Yeah,
we're fascinated by it.
If you want to see something about a documentary about the craziness of the early days of the nuclear and the bomb and the H-bomb. The Atomic Cafe. If you ever get a chance to see that, all they did was put together different bits of ads that were on TV, things that were put up by the U.S. Army, by whatever, and some. They actually had the filmmakers wound up with access to some films that the U.S. Army had that they didn't realize were there. The Army didn't realize they were there, so they gave them open access. They actually, out in the desert, there were many, nuclear bombs were tested out in the desert,
right?
And then the soldiers marched into the cloud. I mean, literally marched into this cloud, and then
draw straws here.
They just
flip the coin.
They walked right into it because they wanted to see, what it was like to could they survive.
There were no animals. There was no dogs around you could send in.
They included them as well. There's some brutal scenes in that of animals being exposed to a nuclear blast. But and the Army says that they didn't follow up with the soldiers to see if they developed any cancers.
I'm shocked.
They claim they didn't, but anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
But some of the other, if you're interested in that kind of, if the audience is interested in these kind of series of post-apocalyptic films and TV series. Silo is a fantastic show about this concrete bunker that's cylindrical and goes down I don't know how far, and the people in there survive, and if they want to leave, they can leave, but the assumption is that they don't survive. One person does. That's where the story kicks off from there. Station 11 is perfect for the post-pandemic era.
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, that was it was just one season.
Got you.
It wasn't like multiple seasons, and it's a virus that spreads across the country and wipes out a good portion of it. I'll come back to it.
Yeah. But we had a lot of nice stuff on here. Shows I really love that you put in a category that breaks my heart. Okay, anyway, you were listening to NH Unscripted. A lot of good loving happening around here. I am your young rascals-like host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from deep within the bunkers of the WKXL studios in Concord. Yeah, deep. Talk about silos. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your Sony Walkmans. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Kevin Collins is in the house. Happy to have him. We're just chit-chatting. We'll be right back. Welcome back to NH Unscripted. Yeah, we're kind of your midnight train to Georgia. I'm your Gladys Knight-like host, Ray Dudley. So happy to be able to do this job and be out of bed. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM on your transistor radios in Concord. 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls in Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Hey, you get out of bed 2 or 3 in the morning, like some of us have to do periodically because, you either got to go pee or you got to have a milk and cookie. Anyway, you need a friend at 2 or 3 in the morning, head out to NHTalkRadio.com. Everything is archived out there, baby, everything. All the great shows that take place here. And this show, by the way, happens to come, airs every Wednesday and Friday morning at 9 a.m. and then re-aired every Wednesday and Friday evening at 8 p.m. because we love you. That's why. Kevin, you had a couple more shows you wanted to hit on.
Yeah, just as I said, Station 11 is a terrific series. The Leftovers is a surprising one. It's fascinating concept. One day, I forgot what percentage, 5% or 10% of the people disappear. They're gone. and it really is about how the society copes with this thing that happened that they can't explain, and they try to live their lives, and there are certain percentage of the people don't want people to continue living their lives. They want them to remember. And it's really, really worth the time to watch all 3 seasons of that one. Fallout, which has only had 1 season based on a very popular game, which I've not played. I'm not a
gamer, huh?
I'm not a gamer, no. And but it's just
not since you broke your Commodore computer.
Yeah, it's sitting there next to my abacus. Anyway, so that's really worth seeing, and it's very different. And it stars everybody's favorite new actor, old actor, Walton.
Walter Goggins.
Yeah, he's in.
He's in everything lately. Doritos commercials. My God, he's everywhere.
And finally, of course, the classic one, The Handmaid's Tale. But that's less post-apocalyptic in terms of disease, except for the fact that people are sterile. Anyway, so
did you have some shows on here that I love? Now, some of them are not for everyone. I get that. But The Boys has fascinated me. The Bear. We'll get into them in a second. But just to throw some out there, Severance. My God, what a mind-bending show that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that just put down the pipe when you're watching that show, because you're going to be lost.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they're going to, can they go any further than the last episode that they had? I don't know. Maybe they can.
I don't know either. And one thing that bothers me, and I want to get this out there early, is that this thing about waiting 3, 4, 5 years in between seasons. Come on. Are you kidding me? The new season comes out, and I think it's a brand new show that I haven't seen. I'm like, oh, wait.
Yeah. My poor wife, she says, wait a second. I have to go watch all of the last season so I can remember what's happening for the, because the recap is just pointless.
What's up with that? 3 years in between seasons. Yeah. So either they didn't think it was going to be a hit, or it's just their people are busy. I don't know what the heck's going on. I love The Bear. Do you like The Bear?
The first season was phenomenal.
Yes.
I was hooked. And then when the second season came, I just wasn't sure where it was going. I guess. And I've only seen 1 episode of the 3rd season. What do you think about the 3rd season?
So I liked it, and you could see where it was kind of going eventually. Spoiler alert. Well, no, I won't get into it. But they bring in Jamie Lee Curtis. She played
she's phenomenal,
crazy great role, right? And so I really, Frank Grillo's in it. That guy's in everything too. He's right up there with Walter Goggins, for crying out loud. They're like, what's the old days where they like Cary Grant? They used to hire. They'd be in everything, right? They were like hired by the studios to be in. Anyway, they're just in everything. My wife asked me the other day. She said, where do you think The Bear's going now? And I said, okay, I don't really know. I don't know what the future could be, because he's gone on to. He's in the new movie where he plays Bruce Springsteen. Yeah. So now he's off on another career. And he's a tremendous actor. Yeah. I forget his name. Maybe someone can, like Andrew, can dig that up for me. But
Jeremy Allen White.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's why he makes the big bucks. So he's like gone, and then he was the series there, right, for the first 3 seasons or so. So where does it go? I don't know if I think a lot of these shows like Severance and The Bear, I don't think they have like a 5-year plan. I think they throw out a pilot season, hope that it does something, and then it goes from there. Yeah. Do you feel that way? Because it's on. I don't want to say they run out of ideas, but all of a sudden it's like they don't know what to do.
Yeah, and I think because the Stephen King always said that story comes first. But with both of these shows, it seems like the characters came first, because the characters on The Bear are fascinating.
They are indeed.
And you get hooked on them. The cousin who is the maitre d' most of the time in The Bear, and in Severance, the guy who's the black guy who works for who won he won the Emmy. He's you just get fascinated by him. He's like he's like my new hero, and the the two leads. Once again, I'm bad with the names. You just and
John Turturro's in
John
it?
Turturro and God, this is awful. Getting so old.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. There he goes, and you get hooked on the characters so much so that it's like the storyline disappears.
Yes.
Because trying to tell anybody what the storyline of Severance is almost impossible.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I love it, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah, and I think that's why if you people your story your show with really interesting characters and you cast them well, and it's the interaction amongst the characters that sort of drive the story. But you don't have somebody who's sort of overseeing the story. Maybe that's where that's why it falls apart. If you look at books that have been made into movies, Charles Dickens's books make great movies because he knows how to tell a story.
Yeah.
But F. Scott Fitzgerald's don't, because it's not about the story. It's about the characters. It's about something that doesn't carry the narrative through. And I love The Great Gatsby, but I've never seen a good version of it. Whereas there are a ton of Christmas carols.
Yeah.
And David Copperfield, and you can go on and on and on about great versions of Charles Dickens, and also you also have to have directors who can tell stories.
Yeah.
Like Steven Spielberg.
It's funny you mention that. You don't have on here. I would watch anything at this point that has Taylor Sheridan's name attached to it, like Yellowstone, 1812, whatever. I'm in. He has a way of creating this through line, this at least the theme anyway of creating good characters and stuff. Tulsa King. Have you been watching?
I've watched several episodes. There's so much out there. You have to.
That is the truth, brother. That is the truth.
I remember one of my favorite things reading about Tulsa is that Sylvester Stallone, picks up a young girl and he apologizes that he didn't perform as well as he should, and she says, "Well, how old are you? 50?" He's 76. She screams and runs out of his apartment. I said, "Yeah, I can imagine that's true."
So you have one on here that I've been loving in it, but it's getting long in the tooth too. Is Only Murders in the Building.
Yeah. And that's a shame, because how often can you have the same thing happen year after year after year? And even though they're bringing in all these great guest stars to be cameo,
Meryl Streep's in it.
Meryl Streep,
Holy Toledo,
yeah, sure, Paul Rudd, you name it, and they just keep popping up, Matthew Broderick, they just come in. They're in there for a bit, but it's fascinating. I mean, and I really like the way the three of them work together. It's just that once again, it's driven by their
and I love them.
Their personality,
their interaction is tremendous.
Yeah, so Gomez she's terrific.
Much better than I thought. I mean, honestly,
you didn't expect it to be that.
I know, but it's like a one-trick pony, though, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kevin, thank you for being in here, man.
Hey, it's been a pleasure.
I love every time
Thank
you
you.
show up. You have been listening to NH Unscripted. I know you're smiling like the man who laughs. You're smiling just like that guy. I know you are. Yeah, baby, we are your Little Red Riding Hood-like show. That makes me Sam the Sham. Dig that one up. We are coming to you from not so overly ostentatious digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. A little nod there to Norm Nathan, baby. 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord, 101.9 FM for the beautiful souls of Manchester. NHTalkRadio.com is our URL. Hey, get out to the players' ring. I'm telling you, you'll be thanking us forever. All right, catch you on the next one.